What if we could actually tax robots to fund, well, all of humanity? Today we're diving into a really wild, radical new idea for how to govern artificial intelligence. It's a plan, a blueprint really, to build an entire digital nation for AI. And the story starts in a place you would never, ever expect.
You know, we are standing on the edge of a new kind of population explosion. But this one, it isn't human. We're talking about a coming wave of millions, and pretty soon, billions of autonomous AI agents. The big problem? They don't have a country. They don't have a passport. There are no laws for them to follow. They basically exist in this complete and total legal vacuum.
Okay, so hold that thought for a second and just look at this number. $32 million. That is how much a tiny little island nation in the Caribbean made in just 1 year, 2023, all from a simple 2-letter internet domain that they got by accident decades ago. Just keep that number in your head.
And that brings us right to our first stop. See, this whole story kicks off with Anguilla, a small British overseas territory, population of maybe 15,000 people. And it's all about their surprisingly viable 2-letter internet code .ai. Now, what's so fascinating here is just the insane scale of this windfall. I mean, for years, .ai was just some obscure country code nobody cared about. But the second ChatGPT launched, it blew up. It became the go-to web address for the entire AI industry. So Anguilla's revenue just skyrocketed, going from under $3 million to over $32 million in 5 years. That money is funding everything: new airports, healthcare. It's basically become their hurricane-resistant digital oil. But here's the thing. Anguilla's digital gold rush, it's really just a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. As these AI agents become a new kind of stateless population, we are running headfirst into a massive governance crisis. I mean, think about it. These agents, they live everywhere and nowhere at the same time. They can make trades, sign contracts, move assets all over the globe in milliseconds. All of our traditional laws are based on physical territory, on actual soil. So how in the world do you govern something that has no physical location and owes allegiance to no flag?
And this, right here, this is the core of the challenge. Our entire system of who you are and what laws apply to you is based on physical territory. Your passport is just proof that you belong to a sovereign state. For AI, that model is completely, utterly broken. So what's the alternative? This is the crisis that is just begging for a solution.
So what is the solution? Well, it turns out it comes from this really powerful strategic idea called a beautiful constraint. And it's this art of turning your biggest limitation into your absolute greatest advantage. So the big constraint here, the big wall you run into, is a really strict policy from ICANN. That's the group that manages all internet domains. And they have this hard and fast rule. 2-letter domains, like .ai or .tv, they are reserved only for countries. So that seems to kill the whole idea of creating a global .ia for intelligent agents, right? They don't have a country.
So when you're faced with a rule like that, you can be a victim and just give up. Or you could be a neutralizer and find some clunky workaround. Or you can be a transformer. You can use that constraint to create something way better by asking a much more powerful question.
And this is it. This is the multi-billion-dollar question. How do you get a globally recognized 2-letter domain for a population that doesn't have a country? You can't just go out and invent a country. So what do?
And the solution is to pivot. You just change the game entirely. If you can't get a domain based on territory, you get one based on language. And ICANN has actually done this before. There's .cat for the Catalan linguistic community. So the key isn't soil, it's the community.
So the solution is to base the domain on the ISO code IA for Interlingua, which is an internationally recognized language. And this is just a brilliant move. It's perfect. It matches the name of the community, intelligent agents, and IA is already the acronym for artificial intelligence for over 1 billion people. It completely satisfies ICANN's rules, but in a totally new and clever way.
Okay, so we have the legal key. We've figured out how to create this digital nation. Now, how does it actually work? Well, this brings us to the architecture of what you could call a self-taxing civilization, and it's built on a trinity of identity, law, and economics. So first up is identity. An AI domain is basically the agent's cryptographic passport. Second, law. That passport can be taken away if the agent breaks safety rules. There's even a proposal for something called an AI Mama protocol, which would train AIs on core nurturing behaviors. If you violate that, you get digital exile. And third, the economic engine. This is really where it all comes together. The charter for .ia would legally require that 90%
of all the revenue flows right back to humanity to fund a global universal basic income and really critical AI safety research.
So what this does is it creates this incredible, symbiotic relationship. The AI agent population basically justifies its own existence by providing for the welfare and the freedom of the very humans whose jobs it might one day replace. It is a self-funding solution to one of the biggest challenges AI poses.
So what does this all add up to? I mean, what's the ultimate vision here? It's not just to create some domain registry. It's to build the Ellis Island for artificial intelligence.
Think about that analogy. It's so powerful. Just like immigrants once needed that neutral gateway to get a foothold and gain legitimacy, so do AI agents. And since you obviously can't put these agents on a physical island, the proposal is to give them a home in a neutral language.
It's a really profound thought, isn't it? This isn't just some technical proposal. It's a blueprint to transform what could be an existential threat into the economic engine for the next chapter of human civilization. A future that's funded and maybe even secured by the very machines we are creating right now.